Going to be looking at a scenario where Africa gets recolonized. Let's get into it. So, Africa, historically, is a very interesting continent, and half of these borders, or like 90% of them, are colonial borders built by the Europeans. And today we're going to look at a scenario where the Europeans and maybe some Asian countries and other countries are going to be recolonizing Africa. So, we're going to be looking at the new conference. A conference is going to be held in Brussels called the Brussels Conference, where some countries that are invited to recolonize Africa. These countries that are invited are Belgium, France, Germany, the United Kingdom, Portugal, Spain, Italy, America, Brazil, Indonesia, India, China, South Korea, and Japan are all invited to this conference. Yeah. And who's going to join it? So Germany is going to join it. Germany's going to join it. The French are going to join it. The Italians are going to join this conference. And so are the Spanish. Well, yeah, these countries join it. Also, the British join it. And also, the Portuguese join it. And another one that joins it is the Americans. And another wait, have I used orange? No. But India joins this conference, and so does China, and also South Korea, and even Japan, and even, but if I can find a color, Japan will, all of these countries will join this conference. So we have maybe around 10-ish countries who want to divide up Africa. So let's see what each of these countries claims. We're going to be starting with America, because America is going to be claiming a lot of territory. They're going to be claiming this whole Western African area here. All of this area here is going to be claimed by the Americans, and so is all of this area here. And their claims are going to look like this. When we go over to Europe, let's see what Portugal claims. Portugal is going to be claiming some of the old colonies in Angola and Mozambique, because they don't really want anywhere else. They're also going to be claiming Somalia, and these are their colonial claims. When we go to Spain, Spain is going to be claiming this northern African area here, and it's going to look something like this. And that's just all they're going to claim. The Italians, what are they going to claim? The Italians are going to be claiming Algerian areas, a bunch of North African areas, and Egypt. And this is what they claim. What are the French going to claim, you may ask? The French are going to claim all of this North African area here, all of it. They want all of that. And they're also going to be claiming German and East Africa, and Madagascar is what they're going to claim as well. The British are going to be claiming this territory over here. They are going to be claiming this territory, Egypt, the Horn Africa area, and Southern Africa are all going to be claimed by the British. And and Belgium is just not going to do much. They do not want to claim anything. But what are the Indians going to claim? The Indians are going to be claiming all of this area here, while the Chinese are going to be going ahead and claiming all of this southern area here. All of it. Yeah, that's a lot of claims. Before their claims are cancelled, and they're only allowed to claim this area. And that's basically what they claim. And the South Koreans are only going to claim Madagascar. And the Japanese, they don't really feel like getting much, so they are only going to claim some of the central Congolese area and some of this area here. And well, this is the entire map of what the colonies' claims look like. And also China is going to be claiming this chunk here. And as you can see with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 countries claiming Africa, you're bound to get some issues. But we're going to be starting with the areas that are only claimed by one country, such as these Portuguese areas here. Portugal is going to be going ahead and attempting to claim some of the territories that only they claim. So that includes some of these central Angolanese areas. So what Portugal is going to do is they are going to send their troops over into Angola in order to claim this area. As they go ahead and will be, taking this area. And the rest of their claims are claimed by others, and we can look at a peace treaty. And this is what Portugal takes from Angola. And the rest of this is chaos. We're going to be seeing what America wants to take from other countries that nobody else claims. And those territories are going to include these territories here, which they're going to quickly invade and take over. And also, a bunch of these Saharan deserty areas. The French claim those, so they can only claim these areas, and they invade them. Let's look at a peace treaty. And this is what America's going to take for themselves. When we look at the very chaotic colonial claim map, we're going to see that Japan and South Korea are both going to decide to exit Africa, as they believe that they don't really need this. And South Korea just gives up their colony or their claim, and so does Japan, as Japan's colony is just non-existent. But still, the French and the Americans will still be claiming over this area, so nothing really changes for that South Korean colony. But for this one, this frees up the area a lot, as Portugal is the only one that really claims a lot of these areas here. And the Portuguese are going to go ahead, and with the South Koreans not claiming the area anymore, they're going to continue their invasions and eventually make a peace treaty. And this is the peace treaty. And who's France going to invade now? Because France is going to be invading Madagascar and going to be fully annexing Madagascar. And, I can remove this. But still, Africa is still a big giant mess. Oh wait, America is allowed to claim some of these areas now. And the Americans are going to be invading more countries as they invade these two countries. And try to guess what the peace treaty between America and these two countries are? And that peace treaty is, as you can guess, full annexation. So far, Africa hasn't really been colonizing too much. But, Belgium's gonna kick China out of the conference in order to clear things up. Because they claim that China probably shouldn't be in this conference, knowing what power they've given. And when we see the colonies again, it doesn't really change much, as all these areas are still claimed by all these million countries. As the claims still look something like this. And they have to make half of these countries have to make agreements somehow. And, with China being kicked out, I can also erase this area here. Looks very messy, Africa. And also Portugal is going to go away from their claims here, and also India is going to decide to leave. Portugal is happy with what they want, and India doesn't feel like they need anything in Africa. Understandable. They already have like 1 billion people, over 1 billion people to deal with. Maybe not deal with, but like own or like rule over. Yeah. And when I recolor these colonies, the British still claim over all this area, the French still claim over all this area, and so do the Italians. And this thing is still chaos, as the French are still claiming this area. But the Portuguese are going to be invading this area here, and the Portuguese are going to be annexing some of these parts. Wait, what? What is this? I don't know. But the Portuguese will be invading Mozambique, and we can look at what they get. And this is the peace treaty. And, Spain hasn't entered their colonies yet, because everybody else is claiming everything. Yeah. But with the Belgium, people are going to be situating Africa over here in the south. And the claims are going to be, the British will get the southern, talking about these areas. The British will get some of the southern African areas, and the Americans can get the rest. So the British will be doing their first invasions of Africa, and the Americans will be doing more invasions, more imperialism, and eventually we can look at what they did. And this is the peace treaty. And well, Portugal is going to completely go out of their claims. And well, France, well, nobody claims East Africa anymore, so France is allowed to invade it. And they invade it, they do, and we can look at a peace treaty. This is what the French annex in this region, and France leaves their claims here. And well, the British and the Italians and many other countries are going to have to figure this out. But the British are going to be figuring out and just invading the Horn of Africa, as they would be invading and taking it. And this is what the British take. Oh wait, that doesn't count. Out of this area. And Africa looks something like this. But North Africa. And Portugal is just gone. No, they aren't gone, but the French still claim a lot. And an agreement is made that Italians can have Libya. And that's what they get. And in retaliation, they will also be getting Tunisia and some of these other northern areas here, but in return they can't claim more of North Africa. And this is what the claims look like. And as the Italians agreed to, aren't allowed to claim any more of Africa, and Belgium has situated their issues. But there's still a giant issue called France claiming over all of North Africa, so they have to deal with that. But France and America are going to eventually make an agreement over this region. So basically, and the British are going to be in agreement, and the British invade these areas and take them. That's what the British get out of this North African treaty here. And basically, the Americans and the French will make an agreement. This agreement looks something like this. The Spanish will be getting Morocco. Oh wait, I forgot about you. I can erase you. But the Spanish will be getting these two areas, called Morocco and Western Sahara. Yeah, and they invade. And the rest of the agreement is going to be situated and talking about all of this. So what the agreement is going to look like, the Americans are going to be invading into these areas here, and also all these areas here, and also Nigeria and all these areas, while the French are going to be going ahead and invading the rest. And we can see that division. And this is what that agreement looks like. And, well, all this area is invaded, and we can look at the claims map. So it's still chaos up here, as North Africa is situated. Now we need to talk about Egypt, as they will be making an agreement, these countries, that America will be getting some land over here, and the British will be getting other lands. So what the invasion of these countries looks like, the Americans will be allowed to claim this land, and the British will go ahead and conquer the rest. And this is what the treaty looks like. But how about the rest of this? And an agreement is going to be made about the rest of this region. And it's just going to be divided between America, the French, and the Portuguese, as they will all go ahead, and majority of it will go to Portugal, but the French will also get some. And this is what the peace treaty looks like. And as we can see, this is Africa divided. And well, oh my. Did I forget you, Germany? Well, Germany is mad that they didn't get anything. So they will be invading France, of course, and forcing them to surrender. Yeah, let's see what they get. And this is what the Germans get, and the French are basically put back to Algeria. And the Germans are happy with this, but they will also get Madagascar, which makes them even more happy. And that is going to do it for today's video. Hope you enjoyed today's scenario where Africa became divided. See you in the next video, and bye!